Hey guys, we're back, and it's been a few days since the Sony A7 firmware update came out, 3.0, with the Animal AF and whatnot. I promised you I'd give you an update about my thoughts. I've kind of gone into it in pretty good detail now. I'm going to show you what I think of it, how it all works, and there are a few issues that I wanted to address as well. So stay tuned. Here we go. Alright, so we're a few days in now with our Sony A7 III firmware update 3.0, and you've either downloaded it and you're trying it out, or you're waiting to hear how it goes like a lot of people are. So obviously I jumped right in and I've got some footage for you to show you exactly how it's performing. We've got some human subjects and of course some animal subjects, which is really cool. And then we've got our intervalometer. So let's look at a bit more detail now and show you what I like about it and where there are some issues. Let's dive in. Alright, so I tested it in a couple different scenarios, and like always, I want to know how this thing's going to perform in day-to-day life, in crappy lighting, and not always in perfect conditions. So here's my baby in, not so great light, and watch it track a little bit. It does a pretty good job. I would definitely say it's improved over the last update for sure, but still does suffer in low light like anything. It's just one of the limitations of the technology. So here are a couple pictures of the scene here that you just saw, and I just want to be clear that when you see the autofocus on there, it's not necessarily what your camera is going to capture 100% of the time. Here's a difficult situation with a lot of movement, and it missed, even though the eye autofocus was on the eye. But I'd say, like you see here, about 2/3 of the time it's going to get it right. Alright, so how does the Animal AF perform? And that's what I really care about, because this is huge. And I don't care about your cat. Cats are boring. And I want movement, I want action, I want to be able to take it out if I see an amazing creature, to be able to capture that. So here you see my dog on the move, and it does a pretty good job. I haven't been able to test it in too much detail obviously, but I'm going to in some crazy movements, some running and all that kind of jazz. And more importantly, Sony says they're going to be adding other creatures and animals as well, but I did take it out and try it on a few others here. So obviously, like a lot of you, I pushed the limits to see what this thing would actually look at and recognize. And it's kind of funny to say it do its thing, but also it does kind of pick up random things a lot of the time. And this is kind of a little bit worrying, because you wonder, this is AI, this is a very complex algorithm that it's using. Is it going to interfere with things and pick up random things when it does matter? Something to think about. And once again, here's some actual shots from these scenarios during my day, and trying to push the limits with the light here. As you can see, most of them kind of connect, but it does struggle with some shadows and some lower light. Here's a complete miss in the shade. Overall, animal autofocus is an amazing feature that's very much welcomed. So I know Sony's going to be adding more animals into the mix in the future, but how does it perform with birds, which is a huge deal for a lot of people? Well, I tried it on my computer and I actually took it out and found some ducks and a couple other little things, and and tried my luck with that, and I'm sad to say that it really didn't pick up anything on the ducks at all, and I was there for quite a bit. Maybe it's the contrast of their little eyes or their movement, but it was a pretty great day, a lot of good light, and not once did I see that IAF pop up, so that's a little bit disappointing. So just touching on the intervalometer once again, found in your first tab under 4 of 14, there are a few things to know. First, this is not going to actually make the time lapse in camera. You are going to have to bring it into post and do it manually. But this AE tracking sensitivity is a really neat feature if you're going to be doing long time lapses from day to night or night to day. And what that's going to do is allow you to compensate for the changing exposures. So really nice to see that in there. You can also shoot silently if necessary. But other than that, it's pretty basic and has everything you need. So there were a couple of reports of people not being able to download the update or actually install the update itself, and it really depended on the country you were in, it sounded like. So if you're still experiencing this, I did read that some people were able to have some success by actually going to Sony's website in a different country and trying it that way. I also did see a few reports of a couple bugs perhaps in some of the focus modes for the eye autofocus, so definitely keep an eye out for that as well. So wrapping up, here's my pros and cons as I promised, and keep in mind that this is not something Sony had to do, so this is above and beyond. It's amazing, and it's really exciting to look forward to stuff like this in the future. If you're considering about making this upgrade and you haven't yet, I'd say it's safe and I'd say go for it. Well, that's going to be it for this one, guys. Thanks so much for watching, and I hope it helped, and if it did and you love news and reviews and whatnot, hit that like and subscribe button. Drop your questions and comments down below. I'd love to hear from you. And like always, make mistakes, be yourself, and get out there and take some more pictures. See ya.